the chase rate, in the whiff rate that we have seen from Julio. You go through highs and lows because you hit the ball hard and you just hit them right at people, right? I mean, you go through some highs and lows because you do everything right in the process and the result just isn't there. This to me is process driven. And so I ask aloud, why? And what numbers are never going to tell you is the psychology of what it feels like to play with expectations for this whole team and for your superstar in particular.
So it's a good question you asked, Brock, trying to figure out the why, because the what is obvious. He's chasing, he's overswinging. I mean, he's swinging, it looks like, as hard as he can on every single swing, like he's trying to hit the ball to the moon. I don't think anyone's going to debate what's happening. The question is, as you just said, why? And I don't know that we're going to know the answer, but let's see if we can brainstorm some of the possible reasons. And then it's probably some mixture of those things all put together. The first one that I would throw out there is sophomore year, right? The league has adjusted to him, and now it's up to him to adjust.
Yes. Now, I don't know if my eye is good enough to see pitchers doing something very different. Like with Jared Kelenic and his struggles of the last couple of years, your eye could kind of see what people were doing to him. I can't necessarily, maybe it's some of the down and away that he's just trying to pull to the moon and isn't going the other way with. And maybe that's to my naked eye.
Ryan Rollins-Smith has a pretty good breakdown. It's a post game that I know Brent Stecker from our website tweeted about it, and Ryan kind of posted it if you want to look on his Twitter. But he said that it's mostly that they're pitching him much further inside.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yep. No question.
I heard Scott say something about that the other day too. That
and Jerry did to
all
us
kind
yesterday.
of being busted inside a little bit. Or maybe it was Jerry who said it.
And Jerry as well. So yeah, I mean, he is getting pitched in. They do know him. They do know that he was on the cover of GQ. They do know that he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They do know
he can't be the one to beat you.
That's right. And whether I'm going to bust him in and then I'm going to throw soft stuff away and he's going to be chasing and he's going to be whiffing, right now he's not where he needs to be. And all of that's intriguing to me. What's much more intriguing, and maybe this is the father-son, maybe this is the coaching element, is in baseball, the managing element. How is Scott going to manage this superstar?
All right, so that's the next part of it, right? So the first part is the first possibility is just adjustment to a league that's adjusting to him, and something tells me Julio will figure that out. He has at every level and will again. So then you get into, you're right, Brock, superstardom, and then there's a couple of different subheadings there. How much of this is, as you said, dealing with the weight of the expectations? He got paid an enormous amount of money, and now it's up to him to be the lead guy on this team and to deliver. How much of that is handling expectations?
I think a lot of it is, and remembering he's 22. And I just watched a season of 22-year-olds, right, at the University of Oklahoma and the University of Miami and at all sorts of places who got paid lots of money for the first time in their life. And all of a sudden I represent this brand, and all of a sudden I represent this university, and all of a sudden I've got a lot of money in my bank account. And all of a sudden these boosters and this collective that have paid me all this money are counting on me to deliver, and I'm doing just the opposite, and I'm struggling in ways I never have before. And I think that there is a human nature, human reality to that, man, last year, this was all smiles. I could do nothing wrong. I'm a rookie that started so slow, and then I put on a show at the Home Run Derby, and from there I led a team to a playoffs, and from there everything was gravy. And now, hey man, there's expectations. Now you got to go out and
so is that entirely true? I mean, the one thing I would say is he did sign the deal last year. It's not like he signed it in the off season, and this is the first time dealing with it. I don't know, like. I think that I'm not disagreeing necessarily with you, because I'm sure that weighs on him and he spent the offseason thinking about it. But I don't know if I can say that's the entirety of the problem based on the fact that it did start last year and it didn't seem to affect him then.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's the entirety of it. I'm also going to say it's not a 0.0% that a lot of people will.
Totally agree.
So it absolutely plays a role, so much so that the manager knows that he's got to stay close to him, right? This was in spring training that he was talking to us. I think it's cut number 7 here, that he is – oh, no, not cut number 7.
It's 8. I got it right. It's here you go.
I think when you talk about young players like that and where he's at in his career, for the seat that I sit in, I just want to touch Julio every day. It may not be physically touched, but I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to get up close. I'm going to check in, and it's every day. Okay, and there'll be a time in maybe 4 or 5 years down the road where I'm not having or feel like I need to do that. But I think it's really important for young players. I mean, I got my eye on you. Like, make sure we stay on the right path. And he's done a fantastic job. And there has been a lot of things thrown at him.
The fire service crowd is so mad right now because he thinks he's going to be here in 5 or 6 years. But for everybody else, I agree with that. You do want to check in with your superstar every day because of the weight of expectations, Brock. And I probably go in a slightly different direction in addition to what you've brought up. And I'll probably bring up now my third possibility, which is dealing with it's not pressure, dealing with not even expectations. The word is so hard for me to come up with, but dealing with the
spotlight.
Just dealing with some of the excitement,
the noise,
the outside everything.
Yep.
Not all just the negative of the expectation, but the positive of demands on your time.
Yep.
Right? Or, how hard do I need to work? How do I balance work and this and that and the other? One of the things I keep remembering about Julio was last year, and this is one of my favorite Julio things. After he won Rookie of the Month, I want to say, and he had done a ton of interviews, and then he had a bad day, went 0 for 4, whatever it was. And he said, no more interviews for a little bit. I got to pull back. Like, I appreciate it, but that's taking time away from what I need to do.
The noise. Yep.
So that's one of those things that I'll keep looking at. And so I'm not criticizing him for being on the cover of any of those, anythings. That's great. I'm not criticizing him for the offseason endorsements. I think those are wonderful. But by his own admission last year, he hit a point where there was too much outside noise and not enough focus on what he was doing in the batter's box and to prepare for that. And so I will wonder a little bit if that got away from him in the offseason and into this year. And then I'll add in another one, which is the loss of Carlos Santana took away the real leadership veteran presence on this team. And without it, one of the things that had been suggested is, well, Julio will start to fill some of that role, to which I roll my eyes.
Not him right now.
Sorry, Julio's the kid. Julio's the kid who gets to come and take the mic and get the glory on the day that you clinch the playoffs.
And I want to let him be the kid.
But I don't want Julio being the guy to wake up the clubhouse. I don't want. He needs somebody
Jay
to help him with
and,
that.
I want Jay Buhner and Edgar to be there so Ken Griffey Jr. can be the kid and wear his hat backwards and be that guy.
I don't want him to have any of that pressure on him at all. Where is his Jordan Eberle for Matty Beniers? Where is that guy? And of all the roster construction mistakes that I think were made this offseason, that is the biggest. Tommy LaStella, whatever. He wasn't even supposed to be here today. Cooper Hummel, whatever. You're giving a kid a shot. But where's the Carlos Santana? Partly as the DH, but more importantly, to help guide your young superstar who's now dealing with something he's never had to deal with before. So you think that I'm Jerry DiPoto's puppy dog? I'll tell you, the biggest problem I have with what they did this offseason, and I asked both Jerry and Scott about it this offseason, was never satisfied with the answer. Who's the leader on this team to help out young guys like Julio Rodriguez? I don't think he's there. That, to me, is the biggest issue you've got going on right now. But, Brock, you're right. This is a thing right now with Julio.
Well, and
but it's only a short-term thing right now.
It is, but this is the stage we saw Julio flourish on, whether it was at the Home Run Derby, whether it was in big series, whether it was in big moments, and this is the biggest one of this young season, right? This is the biggest moment now with these Astros coming to town and these Rangers coming to town, and this is the stage that the showman usually gets up there and performs and entertains in a way that leaves us, wow. This kid is a star. So hopefully this weekend is the weekend it turns.